Hello, welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. In today's video, I want to discuss life balance, right? And why our life is out of balance, and what does it mean to be in balance? Balance of what? Time, money, relationships, all of those things, right? It's crucial that they be in balance. So stay tuned and find out how you can make that happen. I'm going to share you some stories that might resonate with you, and I hope they do, and I hope they inspire you to take action. So let me tell you a little bit about my past, and just to see if you relate with where I was and some of my beliefs. So in my past, I thought I had to work hard, right? I was trained to work hard no matter what. And I was in the food industry, in the hotel industry, the hospitality industry. So that in itself, it's a culture. When you're in it, you do what everybody else does, because if you don't, the whole team falls, and we're all in this together, banded, brothers, let's show each other's scars at the end of the night, and all the battle scars, from the night of service on the kitchen line. And I'm relating it to my experiences, but it goes for the construction industry. You have to be tough. You have to, push through no matter how you feel and what you're feeling like, or if you get an injury. And that the point I'm trying to make is, why do we make the decisions that we do about how hard or not hard we work, right? What value do we put on making that money? Are we coming from a place of, everybody else does it, everybody else works hard, it doesn't matter that I'm only making $10 an hour, I have to do, I agreed to take this job and do this work, right? Forget about, whether, it's giving me a headache, or whether I don't feel well and I don't feel like going, but if I don't go to work today, I can't pay the bills. Does that sound familiar? Looking back at my past, I was a very hard worker, and I took pride in my work ethic. Not saying that that's a bad thing. Nothing that I did was bad. Everything was just an experience, right? But looking back on it, I question, where did that belief system come? Did I just wake up one day and say, hey, I have to put in 14 hours of work today on a salary? I'm not getting paid hourly, but I'm a manager, and this is what is expected of me. And if everybody else calls out sick, then I have to work every position, and I have to be there. It's my responsibility. I'm not getting paid any extra for it. I've done that my entire life. I did that. I put myself in those positions, and it was under the guise as, I'm just a good worker. I have to give 1,000%. And even as a manager, where I had other people that I would direct, my mentality was, if I expect them to do something right and the way I want it done, I had to be there right with them and show them and be there with them, so they get that camaraderie, right? Because if the boss is doing it and the boss is getting on his knees and scrubbing, then I have to do it. That was my mentality. That's the way I taught people, that, you have this job to do. Yeah, it's $10 an hour, but I'm going to ask you to do extra. Why? Because I'm doing it. So you have you can't say no. But in my mind, I was looking at it as like, no, I'm right there on the front lines with them. I'm showing them that I'm not better than them. I'm equal with them. That's what I was thinking, right? Can you relate to that? Looking back on it now, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. I'm like, why? We all get paid a salary or a wage. If we do what we're supposed to do every day, that should be enough. I always felt like I had to go above and beyond and do more and better and, bring everybody else up with me, And what did that get me in life? And again, it's not about reflecting back and looking back and being angry about it and having any regrets. That's not what this is about. This is going forward, right? Because there is no past. We're just in the present, and there's no future, just in the present. So how do I want to show up now? I can look back and look at those days and go, I don't want to do that anymore. Because there were a lot of times, especially as when I was an executive chef and in the hot kitchen with 3-hour wait, in that ticket machine never stopping. I worked through broken ribs. I had cuts and bruises and scars and burns, 3-degree burns. I worked through 3-degree burns because I felt I had to. I had to suck it up. I wasn't, it's okay, it'll heal, it's only for the summer. I'll get to the winter and everything will be great. I'm ballooning up and down with weight. Oh, it's okay, it's just water weight, but you're not being healthy. In my restaurant career especially, and in my construction career, I had a construction company, and I would expect the people that I employed to do everything I asked. I didn't equate it with they're getting paid this much, I can only expect this much. It's like, no, I'm paying them. They have to do everything I tell them to do. And looking back on it, I put people in dangerous positions, and including myself, because I was right there on the front lines with them. I put a nail right through my hand and kept working through it. And I look back, it's like, where did I get that? How did I learn that? And it was learned. It was through watching people, my friends, my family, and how they worked, and the neighbors, how they worked. It just became me, right? And then me and my desire to climb up the corporate ladder, I would go above and beyond. So I always put myself at risk, always in jobs. Under the guise that I was working hard and I would be rewarded because I needed the money. It was always for either fame or recognition or adulation. It was never for the right reason. It was always an ulterior motive for my actions and why I did those things. But then it just became how I was, so it was just habit. So then it was just how I worked and what I expected of other people. And if I expected other people to work hard for me, I had to work just as hard. And if I had expected people to push through the pains to get the job done, and if they complained, everybody as a collective would ridicule them because you're a wussy, you can't handle it, those things. And I look back on those, and my whole career was based on those things. All of my careers, I did a lot of things in my life, but now, I see things differently. You have to have a life balance, is what I'm trying to say. I did not. I put work first and money first, right? So now I'm giving all of my energy to that piece of paper. I didn't have a life balance. I didn't have good relationships, I didn't have a lot of family time because I was always working, always busy. I didn't take care of myself. Yeah, I worked out every now and again, and I would say that working hard was working out, but it really wasn't. I wasn't eating properly. I was alcohol, drugs. I didn't have my spiritual balance. I didn't have a physical balance, emotional balance, mental balance, and creative balance, and financial balance. None of that was in balance. Everything was so out of balance. But that's just the way it was, right? I didn't think twice about it because that's just the way I was expected. That's the way I was taught. That's the way everybody around me did it, right? So I just fell right into it. So cut to now. Now I'm traveling across the country. I've made a stop in Central Texas, and I've stayed here for a little while. And guess what? Came back up again, right? What comes full circle? I needed money to pay the rent. So I did what I did. My last video, I'll link it here, was all about taking action steps, right? Not to worry, to put it aside, but just know and trust yourself and do little steps to figure out what you need to do. So I did that, and I got a job with a construction company. Full circle, right? I had my construction business. But now I'm the employee doing all the grunt work, right? And this boss is exactly like I was as a boss. He is hard working, right there with you, pushing through. If you're working 12 hours, he's working 13 hours. That was me. And he's doing the heavy lifting right there with you. So I didn't see it at first. I've been there for 2 weeks now. But just the other day, I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting angry, right? He wants me to do what for what he's paying me. I started becoming the employee, even though he was doing it right there with me. I'm like, I can't do that. I started getting angry about it, and that's when you have to stop. Now I know what I know as a spiritual person, to recognize that there's a pain there. What is this teaching me? I had to stop and go, what is this teaching me? Because now this man is offering me all the hours in the world and wants me to work 13, 14 hours a day. But do I want to? Do I want to give money that power? Do I say, if I keep working, I'm going to have money to do this, money to do that? I found myself giving money power again and getting my balance out, because I worked very hard to get my spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, creative, and financial life in balance. And as a result of that, the financial piece fell off a little bit, right? So I was out of balance financially, but I was in balance everywhere else. And what did I do? I started tipping the scale. I started saying, I want those hours. I want to work 13, 12, 11 hours in 100-degree weather, Texas heat, because I've acclimated my body, right? I do my Wim Hof cold training and breathing techniques, and that's helping me stay active, stay, I have the stamina to do it. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Point of this video. Learn from your past. It's not mistakes. I don't call them mistakes. They're experiences, and I'm grateful for those experiences. Nothing I can do to change them now, but I can change me now. So, cut to, a couple days ago, where I got an injury on the job. And what did I do? I just muscled through it, ignored the pain. Then when I got home, I'm dealing with the pain and the swelling and stuff like that. I took care of it. I'm going right back to work, no problem. I go back to work the next day. My foot's feeling better, and we're doing some concrete work, and this owner, he's about 6'2", probably 300 pounds, lost balance, and he wears cowboy boots. Well, the cowboy boot heel went directly with all his weight onto that foot, and I got very angry, thinking about quitting. Just I had to stop myself in a moment and go, wait a minute, what is this teaching me? Here's my lesson. In that moment, I got out of the ditch. I got out of my head, took off my shoes, and grounded. Grounding is healing. And I took a break. Not worried that, he's going to dock me for this break. No, I have to take care of myself. I have to balance this right now. I'm out of balance physically right now. I get myself back in balance financially. Now I'm out of balance physically. I can't let that happen. Plus, because I'm working so many hours, I started doing less of my physical exercises that I do, and some of my spiritual exercises that I do started falling away. I started putting my life coaching business, things that I do, on the shelf because I was exhausted. So now I'm saying, no, I can't do that. So yesterday, he wanted me to work a couple more hours. And I said, no, not today. I'm not doing that. I worked enough. I put in the hours. I gave the equal energy exchange, my physical energy for that money energy. I'm good. Was he disappointed? Yes. That's his experience to have. I would have been disappointed too back in my past. But you have to start keeping yourself in check. It's, you know what this video is all about. Everything has to be in balance, not just one part of your life. Every aspect of your life, your relationships, your health, your wealth, your emotions, your mental fitness, your physical fitness, all of that has to be in balance. And how do you do that? You recognize every time that you're out of balance in one place and make it right in that moment. Flip the switch. Make the change. I you know, and it's not easy. It took me many years to figure this all out, but now I see it all so clearly. Why? Because I did the work. I put in the time to hone myself spiritually and mentally and physically and emotionally and creatively. Right now the finances are coming back in line. But here's what you have to realize, especially where the finances are concerned, because that's where everybody has an issue. We're slaves to debt. We're slave to money, right? We chose those experiences, even though they're dangled in front of us like carrots. We have the option to say no to getting another credit card, or no to buying that TV or that iPhone. We don't have to. And if we desire it, just know, the consequences of doing it and what predicament that's going to put you in. But that's also going to put you out of balance. So now it's about seeing those choices clearly and going, all right, I'm going to do that, and I can do that. It's not going to take me out of balance. So how do you get yourself in balance? You start with baby steps first. You start instituting some small things that you can do, small changes, right? Things that are attainable to start losing weight, not just going on a crash diet, the latest fad diet, because that's gonna work and that's gonna make me skinny. No, it happens over time. You change habits, right? How do you change habits? How do you break habits? By replacing habits, right? Replace one habit, make something that you want to replace it with a new habit by putting it into a routine. Planning, right? You plan your stuff. You plan your meals out, and watch, your sodium intakes. You start reading labels on foods. You start eating healthier, trying to buy organic. All of those things, right? That's where you start there. What about your physical? All right, instead of going to the gym 7 days a week, start with 1 day a week. Start walking around the block, right? Before you take those bigger steps, start going, climbing, doing hiking, right? Every day you go a little bit further and further. And emotional. How do you heal yourself emotionally? Well, you sit with the emotion, right? You purge it. You let it out. You cry. You scream. You shout. Whatever you got to do. But then get yourself back to center and go, okay. Now, where do I go from here? That's ending. I have to let that go. And every day, you do something for yourself so that you can let that other thing go, right? It's all about the baby steps with everything, even your creative aspect. If you want to write a book and you start writing a book and all of a sudden you get that writer's block, you allow the writer's block to be there, walk away, you step away from it, right? Until you start getting yourself into balance with your creativity, and then you go back to it. You don't force it. With my drawings, I do mandalas. I'll get as far as I can, and then if I start getting frustrated, I walk away. I started a mandala 5 days ago, and usually I want to get them all done. It'd take me a few hours, and I put hours into this mandala. And every day that it wasn't feeling right, I just got up and walked away from it. I finally finished it last night because I was back into my creative juices, because I was out of balance, right? I was out of balance financially and physically. So that brought my creative balance down. You see how that works? It really is about tipping those scales. So I hope that this brings you some enlightenment, right? Because you have to take your steps to make your changes. I am doing it for myself. And if it inspires somebody else, I'm happy to do so. I don't have the expectation that it will, but I think stories like this are common, like mine, where you're just not cognizant of it. You don't know that you're in it because it's what you've done your entire life. It was always your belief, which wasn't your belief, just what you were programmed, right? Indoctrinated. Not maliciously, not on purpose, just what everybody else did. But, you got to get to a point where you can't just do everything because somebody else did it. Whether it's a spouse or relationship, family member, a dearest friend, grandparent, whoever. Be grateful for who they are and how they act and what they do. And if what they're doing resonates with you and you love it, brings you passion, make it a habit. But if you're doing it just because you're told to do it, and then now it just becomes what you do all the time, well, that's brought you problems that you don't even know of. So it's time for you to start recognizing those things that you're doing because everybody else did it, because that's just how the family did it, that's what was expected. If it doesn't resonate with you anymore, it's time to really cut it off and set your boundaries. And it's not do it, but when you're doing it as a favor, do it that one time as a favor. And if they're trying to make it part of what you do, like, no, either get your worth for it in your job, say no, you have to pay me more for that, or say no to the overtime, right? Because it's taking you out of balance somewhere else. Don't say, oh, I need the money. No, because here's the other thing. Once you're in balance, real balance, then the money issues go away, because the money has to fall in line, just like it did for me. And it's going to continue to do so, because I believe that, and I will work on recognizing how to keep myself in balance. Moral of the story, folks, it's not wrong, it's just an experience. Just make sure you don't stay stuck in that experience for the rest of your life. If it doesn't resonate, doesn't bring you passion, don't continue to do it. Do it as a favor? Yes. Do it to help somebody? Yes. But make sure that you set a boundary, and it's, either one time or just a limited time, and then get back to your regularly scheduled program, right? Get back to your life and let everybody else live their own life. So get in balance with your life, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, creatively, and financially. Do it on a consistent basis. Always recognize where you're out of balance and aim, set the intention that day to bring that piece back into balance. And you're going to see how your life will never be the same, because it's always going to be better. Negativity will not come to you. Harm will not come to you. Bad relationships won't come to you. Negativity, negative people, negative situations won't come to you. Poverty won't come to you. Right? It's so simple, it's hard. But you got this. You can do it. If you need help, you recognize some things in your life that you want to change, but you're having issues trying to make yourself commit to changing them, or don't know where to start, hit me up. I'll leave the link to my website down below. Enter your email in. Let's get a free 30-minute decompression session and find out what it is that you're holding you back, and see how we can put you on a path with baby steps to start shifting those mentalities, those ideas, those experiences, your limiting beliefs, once and for all. You're worthy. You're worth it. So, if you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear some of your stories where you're like, oh my God, yes, I've been doing it all my life just because. I have many of those stories, so many. But they're in my past, and now they're learning experiences, so that's what they'll become for you as well. And please consider subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it so much. Other people need to get this message. So thank you for spending a few minutes with me, and have an amazing day.